Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and welcome to a very leany E.coli. So today, sir and sirettes, like I said I was going to previously, we are going to be touching up the E.coli. We're going to be adding the bits which I kind of left off when I kind of speed built the retrofits and try to fix the whole issue with the tipping. So that's what we'll be doing today. Anyway, so to start off with, sadly we are going to have to lose the side cannons to do what I want to do, which is to add extra, well, again, I still want my ships to look, what's the word here, ramshackle, to look like they've been put together in a bit of a hurry, so each piece is retrofitted after another, because the whole point of my Legion is it was a civilian they were all civilian ships, or something similar to civilian ships that have been basically repurposed for war in times of a crisis. That also makes us seem like the good guys, even though we're probably honestly not. There's actually not there. Good, I want to make sure. So, what we're going to do is we're going to essentially add two new side sections to the ship. One on the left, one on the right, obviously, respectively, one on both sides. And these will be the home for missiles. Yes, indeed, we're going to be adding missiles once more, which is fantastic. So, adding the last weapon type that we haven't been using since we got the mega cannon and lasers, we might as well add missiles as well. In addition to this, we're going to be sorting out a laser defense system. Now, I won't be doing too much prettifying on camera, because this is going to take, I'd say, it's going to take several hours, so I'm just going to be doing the basics, because as you can see, the E.coli is a bit of a mess. It's been kind of hurriedly, I mean, even the keel here is actually asymmetrical to try and avoid some of the tipping. Now, by making the bottom section wider, and by making it more metal so it's heavier on top, that will definitely cause it to stop tipping, which is exactly all we really want to need. So let's get going straight away. Now, like I was saying, I want it to seem ramshackle, so what I'm going to do is add it, the pieces are going to be added quite far away from the actual centre of mass where we are now. I should really move my character first, so every time I press G, I don't randomly start moving the engines backwards and eventually end up ramming into something I don't want to ram into, like, you know, anything. Maybe even like the lava over there, for instance. So, back to work. Let's lock that there. Let's put the mirror mode back on, so it should be there with the antenna. Fantastic. So we're going to start by adding a large metal beam coming from, let's say, here. Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably two more, okay, and then we're going to have this. Oh wow, that's causing some weird lag. Not sure why that's happening, but okay. Let's deal with it. Okay, it's only happening when we go backwards for some reason. Okay, that's fine. That's the first beam we're going to have, and then we'll have some, where are you, my beautiful, beautiful slopes? There we go. And these are going to be helping to hold it in place. Actually, no, all I want you is on the bottom, actually, now I think about it. Which is going to be a bit difficult to do, because you can't lock the placement. There we go, and yep, there we are. So that's going to be connecting downwards to it, and then I'm going to have the poles as well coming from this in addition. So once again, blocks, metal blocks, and beams. So this E.coli is going to be, let's say, the main E.coli. It's going to be a very much bigger version. I'm going to edit the E.coli in a different way later on, and that will be in a way to simply, I'm basically going to remove the wood there. I'm going to extend the bottom as metal, and that will also fix the tipping. Adding wood, I wanted to add to the ramshackle look, and that's actually one of the reasons why it's doing this, because the uplift being caused from that is not really being distributed very well. Okay, let's see, do this, and we'll go along here. Just make it nice and easier on myself, and I add the next beam to connect, which will be here, okay. I love having so much metal to play with now. I remember originally when I was making bits for the E.coli, every time I added a section it was just a nightmare. Good. Because of lack of metal and such, I was like, oh, can I actually afford this before I do another battle? Oh, can I add this, can I add this? Now it's just like, okay, you can basically build another E.coli onto your E.coli if you see fit. And I do. There we go. And let's add some metal blocks here just to finish that connection piece. And then metal beams there. And the hull will essentially, the new hull will essentially start from here. There we go. If you heard the noise in the background, I'm afraid that was somebody's phone. Okay, so, yeah. And then we do the same down here. Another 4 thick. And this will extend quite far forward. It won't simply extend as far as these beams are. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do the beams on the front, if I am at all going to do the beams on the front. And put those down like so. Oh, one too far, I think. There we are. That's one too far forward again, just like the one underneath, that's fine. And metal block up that. Okay. So those are basically connector beams to this section here. Now I'm tempted to actually make the metal a slightly different colour, so it's almost as if it's two smaller ships that have been bolted on. And actually, now I've said that, I'm almost definitely going to do it. So let's go with a darker grey. Let's see if that makes it. I don't really want it to be too noticeable, like it's really, really obvious. But I would like it to have yeah, that's actually perfect. Some noticeability. Okay, so it seems like these two ships, which I'm going to try and make them look like actual ships, have been essentially bolted onto the E.coli hull at a later date. And I want it to be not quite as far as the E.coli, but the main front, but close, about there-ish. Okay. Not quite sure how I'm going to do the front yet, so we'll do the front afterwards. And let's lock it in place, and want it about this wide, one further. That'll be enough. Perhaps like 2 freighters, because that way I can also kind of get away with the more square look I'm kind of trying to go with here. Did I do that one too? Yeah, okay. Actually, let me see. Where did I end that one? That's 1 in. Okay. So actually that wasn't, yeah, it wasn't correct. Wait, how did that happen then? Must have just connected one of the pieces incorrectly. Okay, well there we are. And that's going to be the size of the 2. Okay, so a lot of metal's used up. Thankfully, we are getting a lot of metal in return at the moment. That's always nice to see. There we go. This thing is going to be very, very big, so and so. It's going to be freaking huge. Do I want it to perhaps go a bit further back? I think it'd look better if the bits at the back actually went further than the E.coli currently is. Of course, right now, I'm just kind of putting down these pieces just to kind of see how it's going to play out. It's already actually stopped tipping slightly, probably because it's got so much weight on both sides. And then this here. And of course, these will have their own air supply, so they'll actually be buoyancy aids in addition to everything else. It's weird because it's both buoyancy aid and weight, and that's how it helps. Little block there just to finish off that. Okay. Okay, something like that. Okay, so then we want to build the ships obviously in a similar way to the E.coli itself, just smaller essentially is what we're doing with, is what we're going to be dealing with here. I think I know how I'm going to do the front. I think it's going to have like 2 side pieces coming off it, similar to the laser, and they're going to connect into like a front and glass panel, and that's going to essentially be where the old seats work. So again, I wanted to look civilian, look repurposed. That's what I'm looking for, repurposed. Okay, so I'm going to just add a bit of a shell to this. So I'll be right back. I'll probably be cutting that and editing unless something actually amazing happens, which it probably won't be since I'm just literally going to be adding metal beams up and down. Okay, here we are. So what we've done is we've essentially got 2 empty platforms, by the way, which has actually solved the tipping issue, since now the weight is heavy enough to push down the ship very slightly. It's no longer tipping from side to side. Yay! And so that'll continue to be fixed as I continue. So we've got this. So this is going to be kind of the ground floor where the weapons are going to go, etc., and everything else. I'll probably separate this into several segments. So underneath this, we're going to need an actual somewhere to store some ammo, in addition to storing the actual, well, more flotation devices. So I'm going to get on that just now, and that's going to be that. So let's see here, tab here, okay. There we go, grabbed it. So there we are, we'll just do this quickly. Now I could have this as red, but I don't think this would be good as red right now. I'm still not sure exactly how to do the front and the back, but I'm sure I'll figure out something as we go. I've also decided that, of course, each of these new ships will have their own AI mainframe. so that their weapons can be controlled completely separately to the main ship, so that I can have them on different settings if I so desire. So that'll definitely be a huge help to me. Here we are, just connect there, go past that first connection point. There's going to be another connection point just a bit further down, because obviously if we lose these, although they are, to be fair, 4 thick, which is very, very hard just to flat out destroy, if I were to lose all those pillars, I'd simply lose this entire segment, which of course is going to be rather big. Yeah, the front, I'm still not sure how to do the front. It's going to be something. I want it to look like a supply freighter. That's kind of what I've decided I'm going to go with. Oops, daisy, what did I just destroy? I think I just destroyed part of the beam, that's okay. Nothing major. Then it'll happen again if I were to continue. In fact, I'm actually going to, just so we can have this as a continuous thing. I'll fix that when I come round to it again. There we are, do the same here. And I'm going to continue this all the way down until we have like a space here, which we can, you know, use as a bit more of a, an air chamber, in addition to adding some ammo and such. So that's absolutely fantastic. This thing's going to cost a fortune when it's done. Absolute fortune. Only the best for the Lafrixian military threats. Only the very best, I tell you. So, let's see. So, control there, that goes there. Okay. So, I'll probably be right back again once this segment's... Whoa! How could that apparently actually works when this segment's done. Once more, progress has been made. Sir and Sirette, my first ever little anti-missile defense system. No, look how cute the little laser missile defenses are. I actually just saved the ship and tested it out in the sandbox mode just to make sure it works, and it works valiantly. I have the missile detectors there on the front, which will be a bit more protected later on. Sadly, of course, I can't put things in front of it because they do need line of sight, but that's the current placement. Yes, I know it's a bit silly, but that's kind of just where I want them. Now it's symmetrical, and I'm going to have them also on the side of the ship, on the main ship, and on the top section when that's done. So that's more for the future. So there we go, we've got our laser defense systems at the back already up and finished. There's the lasers themselves. They're a bit, I've kind of made them very, very powerful, to be honest, but we have the spare engine capacity to do that, so it's not really too much of a concern for us. So now we're going to go ahead and put the right colour on for a start. We're going to quickly go ahead and put the metal back over that, and then that there is done. Fantastic. I didn't really show you, because I've already done lasers before, and it's essentially the exact same thing. The only difference is that all I did was put a different end block on, which is the defense laser, rather than the combiner, the weaponized version, as I don't really want these two mini-ships to have laser weaponry, because I've already got laser weaponry on my main ship, and I don't really need any more of that now, do I, because I've already got quite a bit of it. This is going to be almost completely missiles, although I am considering torpedoes and even possibly some side cannons, because, well, we will be missing side cannons, which is kind of sad. But first, though, I do want to do, put mirror mode back on for a second. I did turn it off there for a good reason, which was I was testing some stuff out. Water and air pump. I've decided that the undercarriage bit, as you can see here, is going to be a lot smaller than it was originally going to be, and it's purely going to be an ammo storage, as I don't really want it to be, I don't really want it to go underwater too much, honestly. I want this to be as high as it is, and it does seem to be better that way. So there we go. We should now have buoyancy being made on these two, so if these two ever go too far down, that'll happen. I'm tempted with this, but I think I'll keep it actually underwater. It just makes it a bit easier on myself, so there we are. So in there there'll be ammo and of course the ammo processors. So that's fantastic. Okay, so the back here I'm actually going to leave as it is. I like it quite chunky like that. Again, I want it to look like an old freighter or something similar to that. So what we're going to do is now add some propellers, and again that's the reason why I don't want this bit to float. And then of course I've actually got some proper propellers, you know, the right sized ones. And so that'll be enough. Okay, cool. So I can start removing all these silly mini ones I've added. Oh, I can't believe I've added all those. I've done so much silliness of this build, I really have, and it's kind of coming back to me now, but at least we're kind of fixing it. I'll also be adding another beam here. So, the next part, of course, for now, I'm just putting it all to one AI system. I don't want to... I don't really want to make 2 episodes purely building the E.coli. I think it's going to be like 1.5, though, because it's quite a big thing to do. Okay, so the next thing is I do want the missile systems. Now, that is going to be quite a big thing, so I do want quite a few missiles. So what I'm going to do is, let's start the missiles here, okay, we're going to have 2 missile controllers. With the reason of, let's put it here, and then one over there. Now, I'm putting it as 2 rather than 1 connected, purely because this way, I can have them, if one gets destroyed, it isn't too much of a big deal, and we can kind of carry on as if it didn't really happen. Whereas if they're both connected together, then if one gets took down, so does the other, and then unhappiness is abound. I'm going to leave a bit of space there, because I'm not sure what I want this space to be used for, but I'm thinking about quite a few things, including, of course, the actual AI space itself. I'm also thinking about moving the anti-missile lasers around a little bit, just so I can add perhaps the helm to the back, but I'm not too sure about that either, so there we go. Awesome. Now, I'm putting them this far in because I'm going to be putting the actual missile blocks for launch pads here, like so. Because I don't want them on the very, very edge again, because that had all sorts of problems last time. So this time I've kind of learnt from my past mistakes, and I've simply moved them along. Also, I may have put these on sideways, so I might need to just quickly change that. There we are. And we're going to have this placed correctly, because that would be freaking awesome. There we are. And then do the same over here. And then we'll quickly pop on the missiles themselves. So here's the first missile. So how are we going to actually have the missile then? So it's going to be an infrared seeker. That is pretty much guaranteed. I want it to be quite long range, so I'm going to want essentially a minimum 4 fuel tanks. Fragmentation, because I do still prefer those over the others. The fragmentation with the small frag cone. There we are. Although it is better to have several of them. I don't really mind them being a little bit weak, because honestly I don't find them for that. So, I need loads of things. I need at least 1 set of fins. Okay, I think it's going to be longer than this, which is a shame. So maybe here. So they are going to stick out slightly, as this now, where I've just put that, is actually the height I'm going to have it. So, that does mean it will stick out by 1. But honestly, I do prefer that in terms of looks. It's just a bit silly, honestly, because it makes them easy enough to get knocked out, especially with the infrared seeker being on the top. So, fragment. Ideally, I'd like at least 2 fragment warheads, honestly. At minimum, I'd like 2 fragment warheads. Then I want an, where are you? An IR camera. Okay, well, 3 of them wouldn't be bad. It's got all the stuff I need. The 1 turn, that's so we have it something like 3, a little bit higher, and then far further. As these will explode further back than this one, so the spread is a bit more beneficial. At least that's what I've found. I've been kind of messing around with the frag warheads a bit, and that's kind of a nice thing. The problem with this is it won't go that far. That's the big issue. Let's stop building for a second. Let's go on to my normal mode. Let's just fire it and see how far it actually goes. Yay, I'm walking along the beam. I would like a way to actually get from one ship to the other as well. That'd be nice. Since I've built the E.coli all nice, so it looks like you can get around the ship, and then these things are kind of bolted on. Of course, I'm going to have to go all the way to this, aren't I? Fire! See how far this thing can go. Because we could have it even bigger and have more fuel and then another launcher. And that does seem to be quite far, though. That's not exactly short range. Then it finally falls out of the sky. Let's have a look-see from the distance. So it went to here. That's not bad. That is not bad. The problem is arising because of how big the thing is. It's a very big missile, so even with 4 fuel, that's not astonishingly good. Okay, for now we'll have it this side. We'll have to do some battle testing, and if we do want it to be bigger, we can always just simply add another segment to it. I could just add another segment to it now. Or 2 more segments. Oh, that would be kind of cool. I've never had a missile this big as a regular missile. Let's have a look-see. Let's have a quick test then. Let's have a quick test. So we want the short-range thruster here. Where are you? There we are. And you, of course, are going to be on a 20-second delay because the other one lasts for 20 seconds. Let's just pop on the stuff at the top just to see how far it'll go. So infrared seeker, just put it there just so we can actually fire the thing and it'll actually go where it's meant to go. I hope. It looks a bit weird. Did it all go? Oops, daisy. Well, it didn't go the direction I wanted. Okay. Oh, sure, I didn't even add the extra fuel tanks, herp-de-derp. Okay, so fuel tank, sure. Let's do another fuel tank for lols. Infrared seeker there. We need the IR camera. We also need the one turn. Okay, we've got everything we need there. We haven't got any whatchamacallits though. We haven't got any fins. That's always good to have out here. Then fragment. Okay, well, I'll much rather have the fins in a more optimal position, but once again, we're just testing the longevity of this. Nothing else. Okay, it's actually turning. Really slowly because it's sheer size. Okay, still going. Much longer range. We've already kind of surpassed the first one. We're only just got halfway now. This should be able to hit almost anything straight away in a match. Look at that, I mean, look at the range of that thing. Finally knocked out of the sky, and it managed to go all the way to here. Now, I'm sure there's more efficient ways of doing it, but that, to me, seems far enough. It is a bit slower, though, once again, because of the size. It is a bit slower. What happens if you don't have them on a delay? Does that... I'm curious about that as well. I don't think that goes as far, since I don't think the speed really stacks well. Or does it? Definitely burning through fuel twice as fast. Definitely a fast missile. But no, it didn't go as far. Okay, so it would be best to have the slower but longer range variation, which would be that one at 20. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go, so that one at 20, so it fires that and it fires that. We could have another fuel tank if we wanted to, but we want a stronger warhead attached. So let's go with... Again, just random numbers here, just pulling it out of my arse, honestly. There we go, and that has everything we actually need. Of course, this is based around extremely long range, so that's why we only... I'd like more fins, but this is based around being extremely short range, so I'm hoping that... Oops. Whoopsie-daisy. I'm hoping that maybe that'll be okay. Well, again, we'll have to test it. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If I feel that it's not agile enough, even at the extreme long range, or it doesn't really need to make too many adjustments to its course, then of course we'll add more fins. We'll just see how we do. I've never really had a missile this long, so yeah, this big... So let's add all the missiles and just see how that goes. So there we are, Threats. The missiles have been added and tweaked, and I'm happy to say, after throwing it into a practice match and just into the sandbox mode and having a quick look-see at them, I'm actually remarkably happy with them. Here they are. 2 short-range thrusters, 7 tanks, and we also have an explosive warhead followed by a fragmentation warhead with a slightly less dense angle than usual. They're extremely long range, they'll keep on firing permanently, and, well, honestly, they're just freaking cool. To say the least, they are just freaking cool. And yeah, they can actually come back before the last one's fired, which means it's a permanent shot. I've done the same, obviously, on the other side, but I've just added the friend or foe. I've put 2 of them on just to be safe, and the delay is 0.5. So there we go. There's all the kind of bare bones skeleton structure sorted out. So I've got that, about to be drowning here. So I've got all that done. As you can see as well, it no longer tips to the side, which is fantastic. I'm going to have to add some more sideways propellers just to make sure, but this is a finished version, so that's awesome. What I'm thinking about doing, let's just see if it, let's see how slow, let's see how slowly it does actually turn, shall we? Should be remarkably slow, I'd imagine. Not as bad as I first thought, but definitely needs some sideways thrusters. But still, as you can see, it no longer tips. And that's the big thing. So the E.coli is now nice and stable. I'm not sure what else to add to this thing. It's got this huge space it's going to have spare here, so I'm tempted to add, in fact I'm almost certainly going to add, a couple of stationary cannons in the middle here, so basically hull cannons, which go all the way through and then come out at the end there, and that's how the ends are going to be. So that's great. So yeah, I'm going to do a lot off camera. Then the next episode, what we're going to be doing is finishing off. Sadly, I did run out of time today. It's been over an hour and 30 minutes now, actually doing all this. So I'm happy with it. If you've got any suggestions, and of course, comment it in the comment section below, and of course I will try to read up on it. I am very happy with the missiles, it must be said, even though there is certainly room for improvement, particularly with fin placement, but they actually turn quite decently, honestly. For their size, they turn rather decently. Let's fire backwards just to prove a point. I mean, as you can see, that's not exactly a slow... It's definitely a slow turn, but it's not exactly the slowest turn ever. Of course, it stops there. That's where I was looking at the time. So, I think over long ranges, these will be just fine hitting targets. But again, we'll see, particularly with fast flyers, since we will be fighting them in the future. That's, I guess, what lasers are for. I also tested out just to make sure that these missiles didn't randomly clip into anything. Sorry, these anti-missiles didn't clip. It's fine. So, yeah, that's a skeleton of the E.coli Retro. But I'll be thinking of I will be thinking of a better name for this Overlord E.coli in the future. Other E.colis I will be fixing up by changing the underside here into something else. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video and of course are enjoying the series, then likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly shows that E.coli, that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future, and the continued development of our capital ship, of our flagship, the mighty E.coli. And don't worry, eventually I will be making it so these two side ships will have the same kind of style as the E.coli, so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. I'm also going to figure out a way to defend these missiles, even if it does sadly mean I'm going to have to perhaps put them lower. Or I could just raise the armour, honestly. I'm thinking about just raising the armour. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.